Hello again, everybody. I'm going to do something a little bit different today, so I'll be mostly looking at a computer screen, but I'm hoping that some of you out there will give me advice about the next watch I buy. And as we go along, you'll see the kind of things that I have in mind. Well, Oldtime has a total of about 4,500 mechanical watches in stock, and I've looked at all of them, let me tell you. But from that selection, I've made a short list of 30 of the watches I might be interested in when I come to buy something. I'll go back to some of these in detail, so don't mind me scrolling through them quickly. And yeah, so it's quite a variety. So between the ranges of 40,000 to 70,000 rubles, with a couple of exceptions, and we'll narrow it down even further, hopefully with your help. Now, the first level of my challenge is that Oldtime, which is a shop I chose, has a selection of over 4,500 mechanical watches. And as I made the search to produce a shortlist, I took a number of factors into account, shall we say. For instance, let's see. Yeah, so obviously there's taste, and then there are things like price. So hopefully in this row you'll see that. Yeah, so there are things that I can't really afford, things that I can't afford and don't like anyway. I'm looking at the Sega design in the middle there, which is quite a bit out of my price range, and then on the left you've got the really nice Orient, but I reckon I can do a bit better price-wise, and I've already got a lot of watches that are similar to that, so I don't really need one of those. And as I moved along in this selection process, I had some particular criteria in mind, that the watch should, well, be mechanical, obviously. It doesn't absolutely have to be automatic, but as minima it should have a sapphire crystal. I think that's reasonable at some of these prices, and maybe a bit of lume, just for fun, because I like lumen watches. So for example, if we look at the Zeppelin on the left, yeah, it seems to have quite an interesting movement, and the dial's not too busy, but I don't think it has a sapphire crystal, which is why I didn't stick it in my final shortlist. Yeah, it's a Sega design again, sorry about that, but yeah, again, you know, something not too piss plain, and yeah, I mean, obviously there's two of these I couldn't possibly afford. Another Zeppelin there, also with a mineral crystal, so no. And let's see, what else was there? Yeah, we don't want a carbon clock. Yeah, so some of them are a little bit out of my league. Yeah, as you can see, so there's a huge selection. As I say, there are nearly 4,600 watches in Oldtime's mechanical watch catalogue, and they go from, I think, about 6,000 to over 6 million rubles, which is quite a lot of money. You will probably notice that in my ultimate 30 watch shortlist there aren't any Seikos. Now, this isn't me being a Seikophobe, and I rather like the look of this one, but I do think that, particularly here in Russia, Seiko don't offer much in the way of value. so this one is well over £500 for a 4R36 movement, which is NH36 to us budget scrubs, mineral crystal, and yeah, and it's also a very specialised thing. It was for the like a collaboration with the Honda Cub scooter, and I'm not a scooter person, so I'm not sure why I would buy one of those things. In addition to the matter of quality and value, after all, I've come off AliExpress, haven't I? There were some questions of taste too. I don't mind the odd skeletonized watch, but if you look at the sterling in the middle there, I really don't like Roman numerals on a watch. They're very good on a wall clock or a sundial or something, but I don't want. They used to have Roman numerals on early wristwatches, but they're just not for me. As for the Maurice Lacroix on the right, yeah, it looks great, apart from it being somewhat out of my price range, but I'm trying not to get too many more analog chronograph watches. I have plenty of those, as you will know if you've seen any videos on my collection. One other thing I had to be careful about when looking is that there are actually a few hundred watches. I don't know if you can see this word here, Usenka. It means roughly like a bit damaged or a second. So they give you a little bit of money off. Let's see if we can demonstrate. Yeah, so sometimes they get scratches, particularly nearly all the damaged ones have some issue with the a bit of PVD coating. So that was something I had to watch out for. And yeah, so you got that word Utsenka, it is. So yeah, and I wouldn't have chosen this one particularly because there's no lume on it. So there. Surprisingly, I was able to find quite a few, Swiss-made watches within my price range. And you have this, for example, this really nice Satina. And it has the usual things. It has a steel case and a sapphire crystal. It also has a Powermatic movement, which is, if you don't know, is this movement that was down-rated from 8 ticks a second to 6 ticks a second to allow an 80-hour power reserve, which sounds all nice. And this thing is considerably cheaper than a Tissot with the Powermatic in it. The reason this didn't make the cut was is it didn't have any lume on it. I think they could have put a scraper lume on it and added a few more Swiss francs to the price, but there you go. As for Invicta watches, I don't share the prejudice of many watch YouTubers about them. They are a bit imitative, of course, and you must take the discounts with a whole pound of salt, I think. Mind you, to paraphrase Samuel Johnson, design can be good but not original, or original but not good, or as I like to say, as the cannibal said when he ate his cousin, taste is a relative thing. I don't know. This is actually a mechanical watch. Again, take the discount with some skepticism, and well, we move on from there. Well, going back to my 30 watch shortlist, I'm going to pick out a few, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6, and see what you think. First of all, there's this not unattractive Satina, which is a teensy bit out of my price range. I mean, should I save for another month and buy this? Well, I'm not sure about. It is a Powermatic, but it has as you can see, it has a GMT hand, and I wonder whether it's just a Corla GMT, you know, where you can't shift the hour hand independently for changing time zones. So I don't know about that. However, it's got all the usual fun and games. You have the steel case, sapphire crystal, and yeah, and it doesn't look unattractive. And what does it have? It has 200 meters water resistance, so it's some sort of dive watch as well. Okay, I know what I said about Invicta, but this is not an unattractive design. Not original, I suppose, but it's also quite a bit at the lower end of the price range, unlike the Satina. And this has, well, it only has an NH35, but so do a lot of other watches. And what I liked about this is I was looking for a travel watch, and this has a little surprise in it that might just make it suitable for that purpose. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Here we have Russian brutalism at its very finest. We have the not unknown Slava TV. And this is going sort of middle high on my price range. And one thing I like about the Slava brand is that they, in the reference numbers, they always give you the caliber or movement number. And this is a Miyota 8205. So which is a fairly simple day-date thing. It does hack. But also you get a Russian calendar. But I have Russian calendars already. I have one on my Casio data bank, and I've got an actual Slava from the 1980s with a Russian calendar. So do I need another one? I'm not so sure. Perhaps a more attractive option from Russia might be this diver from a brand I've never heard of called Morpilibor. And it's got a bronze case, and it has a Miyota 9039 inside it. I've got two watches with that movement, and they're both pretty good. But I don't know, have I got enough divers with my Vostok Amphibias? You let me know what you think. One more Russian selection. This is a brand called Cosmos, for you naughty-minded English speakers out there. This is Russian, Cosmos for space. This one has a quite an interesting movement. So basically you get the seconds, minutes, hours, the date, the day of the week, and the month. And that's all done with, let's have a look, some unnamed Miyota movement. So I'm not so sure. There's something I was thinking of for a dress watch, but it might be a little bit on the, I don't know, not too much, not too thick. It's 13 millimeters. So there we go. Again, your opinions were valued. Well, I had to make one bizarre choice, didn't I? This is a brand called the Electricians, who normally produce quartz watches. This is a little foray of theirs into the mechanical area, I suppose. This has I suppose a USP for a mechanical watch, that it actually has an LED backlight, which is something you don't see every day, and maybe there are good reasons for that. It's a 47 millimeter monster. So, I mean, I've got a fairly large wrist, so I don't know. It claims to have a Miyota 82S0, which is basically a 8215, 8205 without any day or date on it. So that might be handy. I don't know. Please feel free to to roast this one thoroughly, but I like it. So that's the Electrician's Red Alert. One thing I had in mind was a traveller's watch with mechanical movements, and this one from Bauhaus, which I think is a kind of a sister brand of Zeppelin, and is a better value, I think. It has one of those Miyota GMT movements that are quite funky. Titanium case, sapphire crystal. I don't know if you can, let's see, make this out. It has a dial that glows in the dark. What's not to like? It's within the price range. I'm not trying to bias your opinion, but I quite like that, even though the basic the dial is right. Oh, it's got a nice case back. Don't know whether that's sapphire or what, but anyway, that's one thing I definitely had in mind at the beginning of my selection process. Again, I'm not trying to prejudice anybody, but yeah. Okay, let's just have one more. I know I said I've got enough chronographs, but I found this Slava, and it's a mechanical chronograph, but it doesn't have a Seagull ST19 movement in it. It has something else which I thought was rather interesting. So this is in the mix. You tell me what you think. Yeah, so here's the same watch again with a stainless steel case and a blue dial and strap. And I would value your view on it. Okay, I lied. Here's the last of the last. And I know what I said about taste earlier, but my taste is my own, but I appreciate other people's input. So you have here a Carl von Zeiten. This is another German brand like Bauhaus Aviation and Zeppelin. And what they're giving you here, instead of something really practical, is a double balance movement with a moon phase. Not sure, yeah, and it has a date going around the outside of the moon phase dial at 12 o'clock. There's no Romans, there's Arabics, and you've got a PVD case. Nice, interesting crown. It has a sapphire crystal, so to say. So again, that'll be it. So I've given you several out of my 30. I wasn't particularly looking for a pilot watch because I got this Millifortic from AliExpress a couple of weeks back. Perhaps I didn't mention why I'm going to leave AliExpress be. It's not that I don't love their value, but this last thing took 39 days to arrive, and you know, I'm a bit more into instant gratification. So what this is, it's pretty good. It's keeping reasonably nice time, so it loses about, I suppose, about 6 seconds a day net. I'm going to keep it wound up, but I do like it. As you can see, it's got the nice leather strap. The dial's great, and I showed you the lumen in the last video, so here we go. Well, there you go. There's part of my little quest to buy a not unreasonably priced watch that isn't AliExpress. Currently, the two most expensive things I have in the collection I've had for a few years. So there's my Orient Star, which I really love. And it's a beautiful watch, but slightly tipping that for price was this Casio G-Shock. So, given the change in value of the ruble, you know, I was looking for something within a particular price range, quite a large range, and I am saving up avidly to get something. So, hope you had a look at those choices that I made, and that whether you like or don't like any of them, I would like to know. I value your opinions. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a really good Sunday, 1st of February. So hopefully this year's going to get a bit better for everyone. And well, cheers to you all.